Knitting Daily has been sponsored in part by
I'm here in Columbus at the trade show with Debbie Macomber, and you are a knitter. You're here with Universal Yarns, and you are a world famous author. Absolutely, I've never met anybody who's been on the New York bestseller list before, so I'm glad to meet you, Debbie.
Well, thank you, Shay. I'm glad to be here.
And we also have to tell everybody you're a great knitter.
Well, I love to knit. Let's put it like that.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's the kind of knitter I am too. I love to knit. When did you start to knit?
I started when I was about 10 years old. I pestered my mother all one summer to take me to the yarn store so I could learn to knit. And you know, it was really a God thing because knitting saved me. I'm dyslexic, but they didn't have a word for it when I was a kid.
Right.
And I struggled in school. I didn't learn to read until the 5th grade. And knitting gave me a boost of self-esteem. It gave me an identity. I was no longer the dumb one in school at the bottom of my class. And it really did. It saved me. Just having that ability to knit taught me reading skills, mathematics skills. I love knitting.
So when you were learning to knit, so did you really read your pattern or you just skim your pattern?
I think they helped me to do that too.
So it helped you to interpret your reading then?
Yes.
Would that be fair to say?
Yes, very much so.
Okay, so then you started to write. What inspired you to write?
Actually, it was a death in our family. I had a cousin I had grown up with, was really close to it. I always dreamed of being a writer, but when you struggle so hard in school, I married as a teenager. Wayne and I had 4 children in 5 years. And it's just so easy to
Excuse me, that's very busy. 4 children in 5 years.
But I'd always dreamed of being a writer, and I decided, you know, if I was ever going to do it was then. And it took me 5 years to sell the first book.
Did it really? Did you have lots of rejections?
They hit me so fast, right on the back of the head on the way home from the post office. Those rejections.
But you kept going.
I kept going and published the first book in 1982.
Oh my gosh, and now you have over 100 books.
Over 100 books, yes.
Then you decided, am I right in saying, to put knitting into your books?
I did. It just was a combination. I started having grandchildren, and the knitting fever just bit me harder and harder, and I was becoming a knitting fanatic. And I thought, well, let's put a yarn store in a book as a place where women meet and conjugate, and the friendships form and traditions are taught.
And that's really true. And so they met at Blossom Street, correct?
Yeah, the shop on Blossom Street was the very first one, and it was so popular that I did another one called The Good Yarn, and that was my first New York Times hardcover. And then every book has made it since then, so.
Wow, and there are many more books coming on Blossom Street?
I certainly hope so.
Well, and then it's just normal for you to go from writing, knitting, to having a yarn.
To having, my first thought was, I'll never need to buy yarn again.
Which is true.
Oh, I don't think so. I'm going to keep buying yarn. I'll keep buying yarn. And so we talked about it. We got together with all 4 weights of yarn are involved, and the flower names to go along with Blossom Street.
So Blossom Street, and each different yarn has a different flower.
A different flower name, yes. And some of them are really special. Rosebud, my mother's name was Rose, so Rosebud is special to me.
Okay. But now after the yarn comes patterns, correct?
Yes, yes.
Now do you get to choose some of the patterns?
They actually have chosen the patterns and decided which ones would look best with the yarn. Because I'm not a designer, you know, I'm just a knitter.
You're a writer and a knitter.
A writer and a knitter, right.
So now, I really want to ask you, how long does it take you to write a book? I mean, does it percolate in your head, or?
It does, and that's really because every book is different. It just takes as long as it takes because certain books just require more research and, gee, I have to go to a yarn store and buy yarn.
Right. Oh, right.
Or I'll be interrupted by a tour or something. So every book is different.
Okay. And when you were writing, when you first did Blossom Street, did you go to the yarn store and sit and take a class and listen to the stories? Did that inspire you?
It did, but I'd already taken classes, and many more classes I probably will take in the future. You know, Like I say, a
Well,
love and an addiction.
Debbie, I'm looking forward to taking class with you. That'll be lots of fun.
It would be.
And we should tell the audience that all of your part of the yarns is donated to a charity for children.
That's right, my proceeds, yeah.
That is a really nice thing. And now we're going back to the studio.